Good morning, welcome back. Now, today is a very, very momentous day. After almost 8 years since our very first video upload, if you check the channel, dark, dingy drive to work with a 30 quid camera, blue tack to the windscreen of the car just as a test. Honestly, 8 years later, we've got to a fantastic milestone, something that is really epic in my personal development as a creator and this channel, and hopefully for the enjoyment of what you're going to see in the future going forward with projects and so on. And what I'm talking about is that finally, after a long time, 2 years of deliberating, a year of planning and deciding which way to go, the lathe has arrived. Right, now as you can see, I haven't got a spare footprint. The first conundrum was where to site it, where to put it, where it's going to be the most convenient for use and the least in the way. Obviously I have to store the bikes in here at night as well, so all of that is a consideration. Now I will do a little rearranging later. I'm thinking perhaps of moving the units on this side up to this end and putting it down. I don't know, there's all sorts of plans, but at the moment I'm just going to put it on this big bench on the left, a big heavyweight bench. It's perfectly okay there for now, and I've got the stand, the actual standard subs tray that it comes with. I've got that. I'm going to keep that boxed up for now, and when I've got either to move that bench out of the way and put the stand in its place if that works, or alternatively to make a different place and site it there. That's all to come in the future, but for today I've just got to get it in, get it unboxed and get it up on that big table. Now it's currently down on a pallet that high off the ground. It's got to come up to a table a metre off the ground. Now as Jeff Capes was busy, I've had to come up with a cunning plan to get it up there. I'm thinking it's going to work. I'm hoping we'll be able to do it without hurting myself or damaging anything, so wish me luck. Let's get it unboxed, let's get it in, see what it looks like. That's it, everything prepared. I've got a cunning plan on how to get this from floor height up to here. This is it roughly prepared. I just now need to get the bike outside, then start cutting the box open, get all the wrapping off, and then see if I can do this without a hernia. Right, that's got it stripped of all these extra bits. What remains is still 170 kilos, and even just tried to drag it, I think someone's welded it to the floor. So up here for thinking, let's try and drag it in. Okay, now that's the heavyweight suds tray that it sits in. Feel of it, it's about 2mm thick steel, it's quite chunky. It's got these bolts that you bolt the actual machine down to, and I guess this is for catching all the swarf and the oil and stuff. underneath it. Quite a useful thing, because if it's just on a table, it's going to go across the table everywhere. So I like that. I like the thought of using that. And that bolts to a stand. It's got big lugs, big angle on lugs underneath, and that bolts directly to this stand. Clank, clank, clank. That's made rigid. Got a shelf, tall shelf in the middle. That bolts to the top. And then the whole thing, once it's ready and together, bolts through the base into the floor, right into the concrete floor, so the whole thing is bolted down. I think it's essential that a machine like this is steady and solid in its position, so I like the idea of bolting it to the floor. But as I said, let's put this down. Not quite sure where I'm going to put it yet. I might have to reconfigure something so I've got a space to put it in. I might yet get rid of that bench and actually bolt it there on its proper stand in the future. But for now, I haven't got the extra help I need for lifting it, because I literally need to lift the lathe up and put this tray underneath it, ready to bolt it down. And you can imagine trying to do it on my own. It's going to scratch it all. I don't want to do that. So for now, I'm just going to pack this all back away safely, so it's all immaculate, and we can get the next stage of it and actually fit it on it. But for now, all I want to do is slide it on the bench, get it plugged in, and make sure it works. Okay, now we're making this video over the course of a few days this week. So at this point, that is an initial unboxing. That's got it out of all its packaging, and it's got it slid into a space where I can work with it and understand it. There's a lot of setting up to do, as you can see. Belts in the end there are not connected. I've got parts that I need to understand. I've got the pulley wheels to turn around and set everything up so I can actually use it. And there's quite a lot to do. There's also some parts to still go and get. I made a single order and they weren't all available at the same time. Those parts are now in stock at my local Machine Mart store, so I've got to go and get those today. So I'm going to call it done here as far as we're concerned. But as soon as we get back, we can carry on, film some more footage of this, because by the end of this video, we want to be turning an operation and cutting something so you can actually see it working. First impressions though, seriously, this thing is proper beef. Thank goodness for the lift. There's no way I would have got that from the floor up to there by myself. So I'm jolly well pleased I had that. Anyway, there we are for now. I've got lots more to do. I'll see you in a bit. Right, okay, back. Now, this is really just an unboxing and setting up video. I've still got a long way to go before I'm ready to start turning parts up, learning, watching, talking to some people I've made contact with. Two very good people I know that are going to be giving me some tutorials just to get the basics done so I don't make mistakes and hurt myself or damage my machine or anything. Just so I'm in the right direction, everything's going right. But for now, like I said, unboxing video. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is get that onto this bench so I can put you and the camera the other side of it. This is about connecting the belts, putting all the drive wheels the right way around, just connecting everything and putting it in working mode. That means just connecting everything, orientating everything so that it physically works. It's all got to be wiped down, it's covered in delivery wax and grease, that's all got to be got off, and then machine oil over all that so everything moves smoothly, and clean everything up. Set the belt drive up in the correct orientation so it runs at the right speed. This will be a little bit of time lapse, I know, but I've got a lot to look at, study, read. Instruction manual, it's got everything you need, all the information I need on how to set everything up, all the parts and whatnot. So I'm going to go through this while I do it, hopefully without too much boring. I'm going to make the edit of this video hopefully as interesting as possible while I get this in place and ready to use, so wish me luck. Right, there we are. Okay, now 3 hours of cleaning, and I really am happy that I did that because everything moves freely now. The shipping wax that they spray all over it, it just gets into everything. It's under all the slides, it's under the bed, it gets into all the threads, it makes everything sticky and thick. You really have got to pull it all apart and clean all that off. But it was absolutely no problem at all. I used a very fine Scotch pad to release it. It was white spirit, WD-40, and in one case I used a dab of thinners just to release it, and it comes away, and then you can clean everything up and it's absolutely spotless. Then a coating of oil over everything, so it's all oiled up now. All the threads move nicely, the saddles move nicely, the slides, everything's moving freely. Superb, happy with it now. Now that is the first job when you uncrate one of these, is to get everything cleaned up so it's ready to use. Now that that's done, I've popped the belt in there on the medium setting, 630 RPM. There are obviously 6 different settings. You get 3 different belts, and the configuration of the belts gives you different speeds. I'll show you that as it goes on. Pretty straightforward, dead easy to tension everything, just with one nut on the back. I love it, it's so simple to use, even I can use it. So there we are, I'm going to call it done for now. I'm doing this in installments throughout the week, so that's it cleaned up. I'm going to pop it away. It's 9 o'clock now, this has been 3 hours just to clean it. I'll come back to it tomorrow night, pop a tool in, pop a piece of metal in, and do my first cut in a very long time. Oh, having lots of fun. See you in a bit. Right, okay, the next thing in this list, and I'm going through this a page at a time, doing each of the sections one at a time, and I think that's the right way to do it. The next thing, as I said, is putting a tool in the post and then seeing if it lines up with the centre line of the machine. If it does, I can then put the next thing in, which is mounting a workpiece in the chuck, get that set up correctly, and then I can actually move towards making a cut. But I've got to make sure that the tool, the cutting tool, is at the right height. Now, they don't always guarantee that they are. The tools themselves, I bought these tools. These are the ones that are an accessory in the book. If I go to the back page, this is purely if you're looking at doing this yourself. If you're thinking maybe this might be for you, in the back of the book here, you get this list of accessories there. Where is it? There. So I came down and bought that set of cutting tools. Now, mainly because I know they're going to be the right cutting tools for the machine if they're an accessory to that purchase, obviously. And this is them. Picked them up the other day. You get 7 in there, little set of cutting tools, parting off tools, internal, external cutting tools, all sorts of things, plus a great general ordinary tool there for use. Now, obviously, as I've said before, I'm not a machinist, I'm not a metal spinner, I'm not an engineer. I'm a complete novice at this, and I'm following that instruction manual so that nothing that I do is going to hurt me or make me feel that I don't know what I'm doing or I'm not going to enjoy it. That's the main point. This is all about learning as I go. So the next thing tells me to mount the tool in the post, spin it round and line it up with this centre point. This is the tailstock centre. This sits in the absolute centre line of the machine, and this tool must be mounted exactly at that centre line. If it's not, then I have to get some shims underneath, like it tells me there, so that I lift up, where are we, that one, I lift up the height so that effectively it's at the correct height. It has to sit on the exact centre line of the machine. If it doesn't, then it can't cut because it's not safe. So I'm going to do that first, pop that in and see if I can line this whole thing up, because that all depends. If it lines up, then I can move forward and maybe cut something tonight. If it doesn't, then I've got to get some shims before I can do anything else. So let's see. So there we are. Sadly that stops play, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. I really wanted to do a cutting operation today, but as you saw, the general cutting tool, which is the one I would use today, that is too low by about 2 mil, and I definitely need to shim that up so it's the correct height, and I cannot move forward until I've got those shims. They should be here on Saturday afternoon. So as soon as that's done, then I'll have that hopefully for the next video on this. Something interesting, perhaps even make something. Some obvious thank yous. I've got to say, first of all, thank you so much to our patrons for helping this become a reality. This has been, I think February we said this would arrive. That's when we first targeted this. So it's been a year since I wanted to get one of these, and it's finally happened. Absolutely excited, made up, stoked, all the rest of it. And thank you to the patrons, most of all, for making that possible. Also to all of you as our viewers for encouragement and support. I've made this statement right from the beginning. I'm not an engineer. I am not a machinist. I'm an absolute novice with this machine. The last time I touched one was 40 odd years ago, and I am starting from scratch, learning everything. And I really, if I'm going to project anything, it is never going to be a how-to. I'm not going to do a single how-to on this. That's not what this is about. You can go and buy these. They're a hobby machine. You can purchase it yourself. They can deliver it to your house like they did, or to your garage. And all you do is muscle it in, set it all up, clean everything, follow the instructions, and you can start doing your own hobby turning in your own garage. It's ever so easy. Learning by my own experience, practicing as I go along, and hopefully with your support, this will be loads of fun. That this machine will help me move forward and do other things I've never done before. So there we are. Thank you to all of you for watching, for your amazing support. Look forward to lots of stuff on this. All your advice, guidance, help and tips, if it's positive, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to learn from it. That's what YouTube community is all about. So there we are. Thanks to everyone. Take it easy, ride safe. We'll see you next time.